I am very excited for today's Simple Soup Sunday and to share with you one of my all-time favorite soups, and that is a creamy Tuscan garlic tortellini soup. It's ironic because today a friend of mine sent me a text and said, "Can you share with me the recipe for that amazing tortellini soup?" So I did that, and I also, below in this description, am going to link the recipe for all of you. Trust me, this is a great one. Let's get to cooking.
This is the ingredient lineup for the creamy Tuscan garlic tortellini soup. This is one of my favorite soups. I will be using two 14.5 ounce cans of diced tomatoes, some white beans that I'm gonna rinse and drain, chicken broth. I'll be adding some salt, pepper, and some Italian seasoning. I plan to shred up a couple cups of this rotisserie chicken, and then I'll dice up the onion. Also, some minced garlic will be added to it. I will be cooking the garlic and onion in some of the butter, and then I'll add a couple cups of the spinach. I also will grate up some of this Parmesan cheese. You can buy the kind that's already grated if you'd like. I just like to do mine fresh. I'll also add some heavy whipping cream, and of course, I'll be adding part of the bag of this cheese tortellini. So let's get to cooking. This is all the ingredients for the soup.
Time to start cooking. And I always like to line all of my ingredients up so that I don't forget anything. But I did chop up that onion and mince the garlic. I drained the beans and rinsed those, grated that fourth cup of cheese, shredded the chicken, and then that's about 2 cups of tortellini, very full cups, and got my spinach all washed up. So here we go. I've got my heat about on medium, and I'm going to start with this 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to melt that first, and if you don't want to use butter, you can also use olive oil for this. The butter is nice and melted, so to this I'm going to add a diced white onion and then some minced garlic. That's about 3 cloves of minced garlic, and I'm going to cook that until the onion's tender, which will take about 3 minutes for the onion to get nice and tender. Next, I'm going to be adding some chicken broth to this. So this is 4 cups of chicken broth. I have a 32-ounce container, so I added all of that. Next, I'm going to be adding in the diced tomatoes, and it calls for 28-ounce cans of diced tomatoes, but I had two 14.5-ounce cans, so it's 29 ounces total I added, which is perfectly fine. I didn't drain these. You want to add the diced tomatoes directly from the can. Next up, I'm going to add the white beans. I did drain and rinse these. That was a 15.5-ounce can of white beans. Then I'm going to be adding 1 cup of heavy cream, and I'm going to mix all of that up. And next, I'll be adding 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese that I grated. And next, it's time to add the spices. So this is 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And I'm going to mix all of that up and make sure everything is incorporated, mixing it very well. I want to bring the soup to a simmer, so not a full boil, just a simmer, and I'll continue to periodically mix it up before adding in the remaining ingredients. And you can see here that the soup is coming to a very nice simmer, a few bubbles there. So now we're going to add the chicken. This is 2 cups cooked and shredded chicken. I used a rotisserie chicken for this. That made it really easy. Next, I'll be adding 9 ounces of refrigerated tortellini. This measured out to be about 2 very full cups of tortellini. So I will add that. If you use frozen, you just might have to cook it a little bit longer, but it's okay to use frozen as well. And let's just mix all of that up. And then we're going to add in 2 cups of spinach. I did wash the spinach, even though it was pre-washed. And now everything's added in, and I'm going to just mix it to make sure it is very well mixed. And then this will simmer for about 10 minutes, which will help thicken up the soup and also give the tortellini some time to cook. It's been cooking for about 10 minutes now, and the house smells Amazing. And you can see here, it's cooked up quite nicely. It's going to be time to serve it up. And here it is served up and ready for dinner. I'm having a slice of sourdough on the side. I put some fresh Parmesan, you can see right there on top, and that makes it extra cheesy. I can't wait to dig into this. So just look at this tortellini, tomatoes, the cream, the cheese, the chicken, everything just goes together so well for this delicious soup. I hope you have a chance to try the recipe and enjoy this soup. I just wanted to note that if you want to make this recipe vegetarian, that's very easy to do, and I've done that before. You want to substitute vegetable broth for the chicken broth, and then just leave out the chicken, and it will make a great vegetarian soup.